Well, greetings and welcome to the channel. Today I'm in Morecambe in Lancashire and we're just standing before St Peter's Church. I'm quite excited to see the church today because there's a man called Lionel who runs the website greatenglishchurches.co.uk, and he's been here before me and he always shows very interesting churches on his website, so check that out. There's a link in the description below. There's a lot of Anglo-Saxon artifacts about, but I didn't really realise this when I visited here. So apologies for that. Check out Lionel's site, which has plenty of details and pictures. Lovely bird singing today. Just pausing by the War Memorial, I'm actually reading the poet Siegfried Sassoon's trilogy on the wall, so I'll take a moment to remember the fallen. I think before we go inside, we'll have a little wander around the exterior. There's a lovely view of the Lake District in the distance there, which you can probably just see as a dark rim on the top of the watery sea. Interesting to view the people in silhouette as we turn to face the graveyard and the way we've come, rising to the top of the tower, which appears to have two bells in it. I believe that's probably Morecambe in the distance. Many years ago I attempted to cycle from Land's End to John O'Groats and I paused in Morecambe. I recall sitting on a rocky outcrop ringing my wife on an old mobile phone in the days when a mobile phone couldn't actually take pictures, or if it could, they were terrible. I got sunburnt going through the north of England, and I hit snow just before Ayr in Scotland. The wind was so strong that day I had to walk the bike downhill. I was cold, wet, I couldn't keep warm, so I was forced to abandon it. The direct distance is actually 874 miles, but I was taking an elongated route that would have involved me doing 1,050 miles, and I actually got 650 miles along that journey. So I was immensely proud of what I had achieved, even though apparently I'd failed. Although this story would seem to have nothing to do with churches, to me it's the nearest I've got thus far in my life to embarking upon a pilgrimage, though there were no churches that I visited en route. It was just a quest of the soul, moving from one place to another, facing challenges, the hills and valleys of life which we all encounter at different stages. When I started the journey, I didn't think I'd get past Bristol, so I proved to myself that I could extend myself beyond what I thought was my apparent strength. Please keep the door closed, which seems to indicate it must be open. There was some work going on all the time I was in the church, a lot of clonking about. Because of this, it's likely I'll cover some aspects of it with some music. The font's very close to the main door, almost wedged up against it. As I went to pick up a leaflet, the font cap wobbled, and that was because it was hanging by a thread. This shape in the wall is the original Saxon door from the inside. We'll get to see it from the outside later. Alongside the organ is a tiny font where organists are christened. Maybe. This slab is a floriated cross. Apparently they're not unusual in the North Country. This one is 13th century. This strange shape that's appearing before us is actually Viking. It's what they call a hogback tomb. It is preserved in the southeast of the church. Hogbacks are unique to north of England and very rare. This one is believed to recount the story of Sigurd. Looking from the other side of the hogback, you can see that it has sort of end beasts. This is quite common apparently. Whilst editing through this video, it's apparent to me that I wasn't as relaxed as I would have liked to have been looking through here. I think the noise of the people mulling around and working disturbed my calm somewhat. So I'm sorry if some of the internal images are a bit disappointing. I felt I could have done better, but hopefully there's something in recompense at the end photographs with more detail. I haven't checked them out as I'm saying this, but I'm sure there will be. It's strange because my memory of the day was that I spent a happy time in here, and yet I feel the video does not reflect this. Still, we will shortly be going outside, and there is another church to see, or rather a chapel, upon the hill closest to the sea. This filled-in doorway is actually the original entrance to the church. Like many old churches, it has been extended a lot through the years. Let's go out to the sea, they say. Not a bad view for the dead. It's Morecambe over there, but not Ernie Wise. This doorway on the rise away from the church, but still in the graveyard, was apparently discovered in 1864 and is of Saxon origin. This is St. Patrick's Chapel, which is above the church we've just visited. This is a narrow doorway, but quite high. The brickwork's quite interesting, and the repairs to it. It's almost laid in a Roman fashion. It's interesting how the chapel is sat upon a rock. I'll just head this way a bit and then I'll turn around, like Gandalf looking behind himself, avoiding orcs but without wisdom. Can see how the stonework supported on these very large stones, without which the building would probably collapse into the sea. Still, it stood longer than many modern buildings. Lovely flowers coming into bloom. Spring is upon us, or it was back then. I'm editing in summer a year later. There's bluebells, gorse of course, and Morecambe, though the last one's probably not a flower. We'll head back through the bluebells and along the path. Who knows what we may stumble across. I don't mind stumbling across things, I just don't want to fall. Look at that tree growing out of the rocks up there. Life finds a way, doesn't it? I quite like this rocky doorway. Reminds me of Stonehenge. Apparently it's Anglo-Saxon. My son and wife emerge above me, keeping their distance from my camera. And we're back to St. Patrick's Chapel again. Apparently the crosses on the ground we're approaching are ancient grave markers. I guess they would have stood up back then. It must have taken some effort to make these rock-hewn graves west of the church, and it's difficult to believe that this amount of trouble was taken for anything other than men thought worthy of veneration. This is a curious, shallow type cave we're approaching. It certainly looks to have been worked by hand at some point, almost like a prehistoric sentry post, perhaps. Perhaps not. Who knows? I'd certainly shelter there if it was raining. We're on Haysham Head. There's a power station over there and a sort of towery bit here, and a pigeon in flight, and away in the distance we have the Lake District Hills. Well, a bit more walking and heavy breathing and I'll be on my way. Just got to pass these camera shy people, who of course I don't know, although we travelled here in the same car. If you want to know more about the story of Sigurd, Lionel, who I mentioned at the beginning, has got a link about it on his website. Well, thank you for joining me on this journey, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.